In our journey of catechesis on Apostolic Zeal, today we let ourselves be inspired by the witness of Saint Josephine Bakhita, a Sudanese saint. Unfortunately, for months, Sudan has been torn by a terrible armed conflict, of which little is said today. Let us pray for the Sudanese people so they might live in peace. But Saint Bakhita's fame has exceeded every boundary and reached all those to whom identity and dignity are denied. Born in Darfur in 1869, she was abducted from her family at the age of 7 and made a slave. Her abductors called her Bakhita, which means fortunate. She had 8 different masters. Each one sold her on to the next. The physical and moral suffering she experienced as a child left her with no identity. She suffered cruelty and violence. On her body, she bore more than 100 scars. But she herself testified, "As a slave, I never despaired, because I felt a mysterious force supporting me." In the face of this, I wonder, what was Saint Bakhita's secret? We know that a wounded person often wounds in turn. The oppressed easily becomes the oppressor. Instead, the vocation of the oppressed is that of freeing themselves and their oppressors, becoming restorers of humanity. Only in the weakness of the oppressed can the strength of God's love, which frees both, be revealed. Saint Bakhita expresses this truth very well. One day, her tutor gave her a small crucifix, and she, who had never owned anything, treasured it jealously. Looking at it, she experienced inner liberation because she felt she was understood and loved, and therefore capable of understanding and loving. This was the beginning. She felt she was understood, she felt loved, and as a consequence, capable of understanding and loving others. Indeed, she would go on to say, "God's love has always accompanied me in a mysterious way. The Lord has loved me very much. You have to love everyone. You have to have pity." This is Bakhita's soul. Truly, to feel pity means both to suffer with the victims of the great inhumanity in the world, and also to pity those who commit errors and injustices, not justifying, but humanizing. This is the caress she teaches us, to humanize. When we enter the logic of fighting, of division among us, of bad feelings, one against the other, we lose our humanity. Very often, we think we are in need of humanity, of being more humane. This is the work that Saint Bakhita teaches us, to humanize ourselves and to humanize others. When Saint Bakhita became Christian, she was transformed by the following words of Christ, upon which she meditated every day. "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." That is why she used to say, if Judas had asked Jesus for forgiveness, he too would have found mercy. We can say that Saint Bakhita's life became an existential parable of forgiveness. It is nice to be able to say about someone, she was capable of forgiving, always. Saint Bakhita was always capable of forgiving. Indeed, her life is an existential parable of forgiveness. To forgive because we will be forgiven. Do not forget this, forgiveness, which is God's caress to all of us. Forgiveness set her free. Forgiveness she first received through God's merciful love, and then the forgiveness given made her a free, joyful woman, capable of loving. Saint Bakhita was able to experience service not as slavery, but as an expression of the free gift of self. This is very important. Made a servant against her will, she was sold as a slave. She later freely chose to become a servant, to bear the burdens of others on her shoulders. Saint Josephine Bakhita, by her example, shows us the way to finally be free from our slavery and fears. She helps us to unmask our hypocrisies and selfishness, to overcome resentments and conflicts, and she encourages us always. Dear brothers and sisters, forgiveness takes away nothing but adds dignity. Again, forgiveness takes away nothing from you but adds dignity to the person you forgive. It makes us lift our gaze from ourselves and toward others, to see them as fragile as we are, yet always brothers and sisters in the Lord. Brothers and sisters, forgiveness is the wellspring of a zeal that becomes mercy and calls us to a humble and joyful holiness, like that of Saint Bakhita.